What's happening, everyone? Welcome to this episode of Everything 9000. We did an August roundup last month and it was quite well received. Thank you to everyone that liked it. So we thought we'd do a September roundup. Got a few topics lined up today. In the description, you can look at the chapters. You know, if you don't like a particular topic, then fuck you. But we're going to be talking about a whole range of things now. You know, we've done a whole episode on the Queen and the royal family. You know, it's just been unavoidable. There was one element which I wanted to cover in this, though. The day after the Queen died, Kevin Bridges, comedian, Scottish comedian, I love him. He's been a legend in the UK since day I watched him as a kid and I thought it was hilarious. But he came out and he made a joke about the Queen the day after the Queen passed. And the joke, you know, it was arguably a smart joke, but you know, you form your own opinion on what you think of the joke. The joke was that, you know, the Queen won't be the only old person to die this winter, alluding to the fact that, you know, energy bills are rising. The Prime Minister in the past, Boris Johnson, the ex-Prime Minister himself, said that, you know, bodies will be piling up this winter due to the fact that, you know, people can't afford to pay their energy bills. So he was alluding to that stuff. Exactly. There was a big outroar, like, Kevin Bridges, how can you make such a distasteful joke? I think he came out, he opened the show and he said, yeah, of course the show is going on. What the fuck do you mean? Blah, 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 blah. Made this joke. She won't be the only old person to die this winter. Few people took it the wrong way. I've personally thought the people that took it the wrong way lack the mental capacity to understand the joke. But some people are of the view it's just distasteful to joke. No,
I think it's not so
at all.
Okay, the people, it's not the mental capacity, lack of mental capacity to understand the joke. It's the fucking lack of mental capacity to understand reality. Okay, they want to live in this fucking wonderland, where everything's perfect. The queen is the queen and all that stuff. Right?
Let me ask you a question. What if you?
Why are we going to be mourning? Okay, look, we've had a 12-day mourning, a 10-day mourning period for the Queen. Are we going to have that same for every person that dies?
By the way, I'm just playing devil's advocate. Like, I have the mental capacity to understand that joke. Yeah, my humour's fucked. But what I'm saying is, what if he...
if you say the word respectful, you got to pay me £1 every time you say that.
Bro. What about... Listen, bruv. Why don't you ever let anyone speak? What about if he opened that comedy show and he cracked the same joke, but it was about your mum, bruv?
Yeah, if my mum was a queen... if my mum lived in extreme privilege...
No, I'm just saying, what
my mum doesn't live in extreme privilege. If my mum lived in extreme privilege, and if my mum was the Queen...
Would you find it funny?
I would find it okay. Yeah,
you would find it okay?
Yeah.
No, you wouldn't.
I would.
Amrit, listen.
If I knew my mum lives in extreme privilege, as the Queen did, and she died,
Amrit, give it a rest. Give it a rest, mate.
If your mum lived in extreme privilege, your chances are you'd be like Prince Andrew, bruv.
So Ishan, just clarifying, your personal view on this is that it was distasteful.
Slightly, I think, you know, when it comes to like joking about people's death, right? Maybe so soon in a country that obviously clearly is very like has a lot of respect for the Queen as a whole.
The Scottish feel very different. Obviously, there's independence.
About that. Okay,
and Celtic fans, there was a whole video. Right. They held up a banner. Everyone around the country was having minute silence, etc. They held up a banner saying, "Clap if you
hate the royal family."
If you hate the royal family.
Shit. I mean, look. The thing is, I get both sides, man. From personal preference, I mean, again, I'll be honest. Like, these things don't bother me that much, but I can just see how to some it's distasteful and how to some they'd find it funny.
Yeah, but why is it not being allowed? Why is it not?
But what's your view?
This is gonna sound really boring, man. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I'm sorry. I just don't actually know. What is my view? Like, would I find it funny? Like, I'd probably like chuckle. Would I lose sleep over it? No. Would I be offended? No.
Okay.
So it's not distasteful to you. So that's your answer. So you find it.
But I can understand. Exactly. Like, maybe like to some. The thing is, like, when the Queen died, right? I wasn't upset, but at the same time, I wasn't joking about it either.
I think from a comedian, you should expect humour on the topic. Now, that might sound fucked, but...
No, I understand that.
And it's the way you tell the joke. I think that the fact he touched on a very important topic...
Exactly.
The cost of living crisis, the energy bill crisis, you know...
I mean, look, if you look at it for black and white, right? He said the Queen isn't going to be the only person that dies this winter, right?
Yeah.
Old person. Like,
I mean, he's right. So, yeah, like, get with... Yeah, he didn't say anything offensive. I mean, he touched on
Well,
truth.
he did for a lot of people. That's what I mean. It
But,
is the truth.
You know what I
People
know
find it
is
offensive.
what he's telling you is the reality to come, okay? The
Yeah.
grim reality to come. And I don't think people are dismissing it as disrespectful or distasteful because they just don't want to fucking hear the reality to come.
You know what? You said something right now that's made me like really. I know what my opinion is. Yeah, it's about how you tell something in the context. If you look at that statement for black and white, it's truth. You can't. Maybe he's just trying to make people see some light in the truth because it's truth. So is that distasteful? It's not. I don't think it's fucked. But
I think the outroar, personally, I think the outroar and, you know, the backlash that Kevin Bridges got from that, I didn't agree with it. I think people nowadays are just trying to cancel comedians too much.
Yeah.
I think in a comedy space, you often need to understand that, you know, people do test the barriers.
No, it's not even
agreed,
testing the barriers. You know what comedy is all about? Comedy is about basically holding. It's a little bit about art. Like, you know, when you talk about films and just general art anyway, it's holding up a mirror to society, okay, yeah? And what Kevin Bridges has said in that instance is actually the grim reality, but because it's a comedy show, he has to tell it in a light way, that way where you laugh at it as well, but then you actually come to realize what the truth is.
Yeah.
That's what comedy is all about. So you know what, like, absolutely props to Kevin Bridges for that joke, because it really hit the spot.
Shout out Kevin Bridges, man. If you want to jump on this podcast, talk to us about it in more detail, you know, let us know, man. But all right, okay, that's one ticked off. Another topic I wanted to talk about is Patagonia chief gives away wealth. You know, the company to fight battle against climate change. They really talk about. They did it in a smart way. You know, they didn't just make the company public, or they didn't just give the company away. They gave their company away to their original holding company. I don't know if it's a holding company or a sister company, but a company that completely represents the core values. I thought that was interesting. Then I was like, okay, what are these core values? I went on their website. They've got 4 core values. And, you know, Ishan, you do your clothing stuff. I thought this was quite interesting to talk about. You know, number 1 is build the best product. First I read that, I was like, oh, everyone's trying to build the best product, obviously, although they'll say they will. But they said, among the most direct ways we can limit ecological impacts is with the goods that last for generations or can be recycled so the materials in them remain in use. So that is a different way of thinking, building the best product, right? Second value they have, cause no unnecessary harm. We know that business activity, lighting stores, dyeing shirts is part of the problem. We need to change our business practices, and they recognise that, right? Number 3 value, use business to protect nature. Business intrinsically is the opposite. You know, you will harm nature in the process.
You are
especially if you're
taking
a
something
big
from
outfit.
nature rather than give something nature.
And they said, look, the challenges we face as a society require leadership. Once we identify a problem, we act, we embrace the risk, we want to restore the stability and the beauty of the web of life, right? And the 4th one, not bound by convention, you know, just doing things differently. A lot of companies have that value. So, but yeah, the ones that touched me were, you know, the environmental ones. It is genuinely a brand that you can tell it's not just greenwashing. They genuinely care about the environment.
yeah, but look, they've been around for a while, right? And they've always like prided themselves in like producing like outwear for like climbing mountains, like Snowden. But you know, and what happened to me? I can't get my words out. and you know, they are literally like acting out on their core values, like for example, I think the second one you read out was basically making clothes to last. Yeah, so the thing is, fast fashion is not sustainable. It's like so bad for the environment, but they do actually make very good quality products. So if they're saying that, I mean, their stance is that they are going to make clothes that will last for generations, so people aren't constantly buying clothes. I mean, that's good. And look,
counteracting fast fashion.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And now they've sold. How much did they sell the company for? Like $2 billion?
Well, obviously, since that announcement that they've said, you know, our only shareholder is Earth. That's what he wrote down.
Yeah.
He personally lost a lot from his personal wealth. But, you know, the brand image is just shot through the roof, man.
Yeah. But, like...
You know,
I mean,
it's always a bit funny with the clothing companies and so on. Like, if you looked at, did you guys look at the whole thing with what's her name? One of the Kardashian sisters, Kourtney Kardashian. Who did she pair up with in US?
I have no idea.
I think it might have been Boohoo. Have a look, quick look. Kourtney Kardashian, like Boohoo.
Right. Well,
Right.
either way, one of these brands, right?
One of these, like, you know, one of these fast fashion
Yeah,
brands
yeah,
in
yeah.
America, right?
Yeah.
And there was this whole, like, little fucking, it stank of hypocrisy and, like, just, like, absolutely taking the piss.
Right.
So Kim Kardashian, so this British brand is trying to, like, you know, gain ground in America. So they signed up Kourtney Kardashian. Kourtney Kardashian was, like, oh, you know, one of the first things they was wanting to know about this was, like, you know, the sustainability of all this and all that stuff, right? Because of my principles and so on. Like, fuck off. Right? You know, it's fast fashion. It's all about fucking taking from the environment. Yeah, stop fucking fooling everybody else and yourself, okay? You know it's all about, purely about peace. It's all about money at the end of the day, yeah? Every single person now...
That's what companies are doing, greenwashing.
Yeah, greenwashing.
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody's sticking a fucking sustainability sticker on the clothes, right?
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
But what does sustainability mean?
A lot of companies, like, I don't
What-
I don't want them to come after me with a lawsuit or nothing, but like H&M, etc.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah,
You know,
it's like, how much are they really doing? You can see through it, though.
Exactly,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
then, like, even H&M, like, you know, they have their clothes made in Bangladesh. Look at the conditions of the workers there. They're, you know, the H&M, like, will pay fucking millions to executives, but it can't pay back, you know, the workers in Bangladesh. They still owed money for, I think, like, you know, the code during COVID.
You know, even
When what stopped.
for example, if a company uses like organic cotton and stuff, it's more sustainable for the environment. I'm not saying it's the most sustainable, because at the end of the day, you're still producing stuff, you're still using water, you're still using like a lot of natural resources. But I was doing some research the other day, and like a lot of brands that claim that they make organic cotton, right? They just need to be certified by a professional body. And just because you're certified might not actually mean that your clothes are organic.
Exactly.
You just need like a certificate.
It's just a sticker
So
to put on.
like, yeah, you guys said greenwashing. It's happening, and the truth is, these companies, I mean, a lot of companies just care about the peas. They want that good brand image, and people will pay just to have a certificate on the wall. Just say, yeah, we've got it.
It's a bit like the food industry, you know, like in terms of, especially in terms of like fishing and so on. They've got these organizations where, like, oh, it's sustainable if you have this sticker, but you know, the only way to sustainably fish is not to fish. Okay, you can't fucking fool nobody. You're not taking out anything out of the sea sustainably, because it just never happens.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It's similarly in that sense with clothes as well. So this company, I don't know, I've not heard of them before. I did see this in the news that they want to give away their wealth. Like, you know, fucking props to them, right? Yeah. They've talked the talk. Let's see if they walk the walk as well. And I think they probably already are. I don't know what's happening with them, but if they genuinely, if this is the first. To be honest, I'm always very skeptical about businesses that come out and make these big statements saying, "Oh, I want to give away my money," all of that stuff. Because at the end of the day, it's always just a man's two words. It always
It's not
just.
financial. He is a billionaire, but he might be a billionaire that you like, Amrit. But you know, anyway, this is a topic I thought we'd cover.
It is interesting. Let's see how it goes.
Go
I'll
on,
keep
man.
an eye on this.
One for the viewer, man. Educate yourselves, yeah. But now we're going to be talking about a law that was passed in the U.S. state of Illinois. I think that's how you pronounce it. If it's
Illinois,
not.
yeah.
Right. It's called the Purge Law, coming into effect in 2023. I want you to watch this video. I'll put it up for you guys as well. But
as of January 1st, 2023, the following things will go into effect, and people need to be aware of this. It abolishes cash bail for almost every offense. This includes, but isn't limited to, kidnapping, armed robbery, second-degree murder, drug-induced homicide, aggravated DUI, threatening a public official, and aggravated fleeing and eluding. Offenders released on electronic monitoring have to be in violation for 48 hours before law enforcement can act. They could almost drive to Alaska before we can even look for them. It denies victims their constitutional rights. And keep this in mind, businesses and homeowners. Officers will no longer be able to remove trespassers from your residence or your businesses. Someone could decide to live in your shed, and all we can do is give them a ticket. You have to decide what level of force is required to remove them and whether or not it's legal. This is a massive threat to the residents of Orland Park, Cook County, and Illinois.
now, thing is, right, this law just sounds stupid, but you've got, right, a state officer sitting there giving you this information. How do you react
It's
to
not
that?
looking good, bruv.
No, by the way, the way he's saying all of this stuff, right, is very inflammatory. The way, like, I've noticed that it almost sounds like fake news.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I can't lie.
Yeah.
You know what? To be honest, like, it's very like he's obviously very anti the law.
Jokes
right?
aside now.
Yeah.
Jokes aside now.
He's like you, bro.
Jokes aside, we're here, right? Imagine we're in Illinois.
Yeah.
And your state officer says this. Jokes aside now, you got a smile on your face. If this news came out, you would be fucking shitting bricks and know
Bro,
it.
when you said someone could live in your shed and all I can do was give them a ticket, but you choose how you dispose of them.
Well, you choose the level of force you use.
Yeah, and you see if it's illegal or not. You decide if it's illegal or not. Bro, I'm getting 7-8 dogs, bro. I need protection like that. That's fucked. I don't know if it sounded. The thing is, so we had this chat about this, right? And that was all over my social media, and I saw that video, and yeah, it's just a bit over the top, man. That's real world purge.
Over the top.
Real world purge, basically the movie. Yeah, that's why everyone's calling it the purge law.
How is it the purge law? I don't get it.
So anyone there's a whole cashless bail thing.
Okay.
Right. So you don't need cash, and they'll get bail.
Yeah.
That includes these third degree rapist, murderer, whatever the fuck it was. All of these grim people,
kidnappers.
Yeah, all these people. For the first 48 hours, the police doesn't need to go and charge them and arrest them, and they'll be free. They can commit a crime and
no. You see, you misunderstood this. What it said is one, you can get bail easier, which is okay. That's a point that you can make, but you can always rapists, murderers can always have been able to get bail before anyway.
Correct.
Depending on whatever, right? Okay,
correct.
Yeah. Okay, so that's just playing up that little bit there. Okay, yeah. Second thing, it says if there is a violation of bail conditions, okay, yeah,
correct.
Then it's 48 hours before anything can be done.
Correct. Which is exactly what I just said.
No. What you said is they won't charge for them 48 hours. No, it's if there's
they won't go and fine them for 48 hours.
Exactly, but what I'm trying to say is it's
a violation of a bail term is a crime.
It is a crime, but what it's trying to say, it's trying to play it up and be okay, look, this rapist is coming out of jail. It'll be 48 hours before we could do anything. He'll fucking kill you and run off.
The fact of the matter is a kidnapper would. Some people that go to jail and some people that have committed crimes are that tapped. And the whole excitement and buzz around this, don't forget how Americans are, man. Very different personalities to us in the UK. They would love this, man. They'll be talking about this in jail yo, what are you going to do in your 48 hours?
No. But people...
No. What, bro? These are the real... Okay, look, this is... I'm telling you, if this was happening here right now, you would be having a very different conversation.
I am. Look, I think this law is fucked up. Don't get me wrong. I think it's fucked up, okay, yeah? But I'm not saying we need to cause alarm as it is that video is trying to do. What you're trying to understand is if a violent person gets bail, that person's going to be violent in the first hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, okay? It doesn't matter if they get 10 hours or...
And they've got 48.
Yeah, and they got 48 and it's bad, okay, yeah? But the point that this guy's trying to make with the 48 hours is that person could have 24 hours, okay?
Look, yeah, it's light in here, yeah. Should I turn the lights off? Should it be dark?
No. But you see,
should we have it? And imagine, that brother's knocking on the door.
That brother's knocking on the door. He could be knocking on the door the moment he leaves jail. What they're trying to say is the problem with this.
Amrit, open up.
No.
I'm not just talking about the door.
No. What they're saying, they're not saying that this person will go has 48 hours to commit a crime within that state. They're saying the concern there is that this person can escape. If somebody's electronically tagged, they're saying if somebody's electronically tagged, and we can see that they're out of the area, right, where they're not meant to be, for example,
they can go as far as Alaska. He said.
Yeah. So that's the whole point of escaping. Okay, it's not about them going them on a fucking killing rampage.
What are you trying to say, basically?
So I'm trying to say you're going on as if it's going to go on a killing rampage and all that stuff. It's not that. They're just saying
why would they not though? Why would certain people not though?
No. Look. He's on about electronic tags. The point of an electronic tag is you can monitor where a person is.
Look,
okay, yeah, and
let's go down to the basics.
No. That's what I'm telling you.
I think in explaining the point, I think you're getting a bit confused.
No. You're thinking, okay, this guy has 48 hours to go and kill everybody.
He does though.
No. But
if that person is of that mindset, which a lot of criminals are.
No. Look, what they're trying to say with electronic tags, he's saying with people that's been electronically tagged, we can't
It's not limited to electronic tags. It's just bail conditions.
But then how? No. Look, how are you going to monitor the person anyway, right? If somebody's out on and they have a bail condition,
exactly.
You're not getting the point, bruv. What I'm trying to say to you is, a person who comes out on bail and wants to break bail conditions could do that anytime. It doesn't have to be 48 hours. It doesn't give them an extension. Okay, what that is saying...
It does give them an extension because in a normal sense, you would expect to be arrested as soon as you can.
Exactly.
Someone who breaks a bail condition could then be arrested in hour 13. But in this instance, they can't.
If somebody goes and fucking kills somebody, right, they'll be arrested at the moment they found out.
Listen, did you see the manner in which he was speaking?
Yeah, and it was very honest.
That department, right, will not give a fuck. I'll be like, it's all right, we've got another 24 hours until these 48 hours, all right, we'll go arrest him later.
No, it's not the case of that. What it's trying to say is, if the person's electronically tagged and they've noticed that he's out of an area that he's meant to be in, right? Or for example, he's in an area where he's in the next state.
Yeah.
What they're saying is that
They're not gonna find him.
Yeah, that is, they can't actually like act on it, right? Okay, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, which is a bit worrying, right?
That doesn't mean
Which is a
that
bit dangerous,
person's
right?
escaping, okay? But that doesn't necessarily. I get your point, but you're painting this picture as this person's gonna go out.
Should I tell you why I'm painting that picture? Because of the points I've just said. Not all criminals are like how I'm describing.
Exactly.
But certain criminals are.
Yeah.
And those criminals don't
And-
tend to get bailed so easily as well in the first place.
How do you know?
Because if somebody,
How do you know, bro? You don't know.
No,
You're
it depends
chatting
on
shit.
You fucking dickhead. We've both done law. We know how bail works.
I know
okay?
how bail works.
Right? What?
Yeah,
Okay.
I know how.
If
To be honest, I don't really know how bail works.
No.
I'm not
If
worked in the police
if there are
system.
two people, for example,
I
person
did
A-
one criminal law module,
Okay,
bro.
no,
I got a
person
better
A,
marks than
person
you.
B.
But that doesn't mean I remember shit.
You did not get a better mark. than
I
your
studied
you-
for that,
Shut
right?
the fuck
And
up.
I did the exam and I forgot it the next day. Man.
Yeah.
Right. So
Okay, look. Person A has committed robbery, or like say theft. Person B has committed murder. Person A is much easier to get bail than
Right.
person B.
Right.
And that's the whole concept of fucking criminal law.
presuming person B gets bail,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Then now this murderer kidnapper is now on bail
Yeah.
in the state of Illinois.
Okay.
Right. Now, hour 2 goes by. They have committed a crime.
Okay.
Yes.
What is that crime?
That crime is he's fucking broke down your house and he's saying, I'm living here, motherfucker.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? Go make me some roti. Yeah.
You can't do shit.
You can't do shit. You call the
No.
police. Hey man, that's your problem, son. You choose the level of force you want to use. Right? I don't know what state that is. Sounds like a Kentucky accent, right? But we're gonna go with it, right? Now what you doing?
No, this is, you've got it slightly wrong. What this guy, look,
Oh my god, I have not got it wrong.
you have,
What
because
have I got
if
wrong?
this guy breaks in, you get fucking arrested for breaking entry. What is
They
it?
have just-
Are you
Did
actually
do
dumb? Yo,
yourself?
are you dumb?
No.
Amrit, you're actually stupid. No,
Right.
no.
You know what that is? That's breaking entry, it's burglary. You think they're not arresting people for burglary? They are saying that.
Do you want to watch the
somebody-
video again? You yourself said 2
So
weeks
you're
ago.
basically saying they
Do you agree that-
So what you're saying is this: what this video tells you, what this law tells you, is that
He
they
just said
no,
it.
no. So what you guys are saying, they're decriminalizing fucking burglary and robbery. Is that what you're saying?
Bro,
They're decriminalizing break-ins. Is that what you take from
We're
that?
not decriminalising it. He will face consequences, but just not in the 48 hours.
No. When somebody breaks into a house,
Slap him one.
You
I
guys
can't
are-
reach over the table. I might go over.
you guys are so no.
it says that in the-
Okay, 1 second. What you guys are, if somebody breaks into your house, even in Illinois, you call the police will fucking get them at that moment.
Do you want to watch the video again?
He's saying within the first 48 hours, that's
So he's
not
saying-
applicable. It's not applicable in the first 48 hours.
No, he's not saying that. Oh, you guys are misunderstanding it so much. You
This
have to
guy is
understand.
dumb.
If somebody breaks into your house, it's burglary. Okay, and if you call the police at that point, the police will come.
Listen.
The police are not gonna stand. Fuck a criminal. Okay, yeah. For
Oh
example,
my
somebody, normal
God.
person, civilian, who is not on bail, right, breaks into your house. They're not saying if they're gonna take 48 hours before they arrest that person.
Yeah, I think we're done with this topic, man.
Listen.
Everyone, yeah.
Watch it back, right? When the video comes back up on the video, when I talk about the video, I'm talking about that Gora that's telling us the rules. Mm-hmm. Try and understand it.
And then you can let us know what you think in the
let us
comments
know what
below.
you think in the comments. I want to see a comment drop from you.
Okay, what the point I'm trying to
what's next
I'm not
topic?
gonna even
Next topic. Liz Truss is the Prime Minister of the UK. Priti Patel, yeah. Priti Patel is no longer the Home Secretary. How do you feel, Amrit?
I feel we've replaced one evil with even a worse evil. Swella Braverman. If you thought Priti Patel was bad, which was fucking extremely vile, like Swella Braverman is the fucking mother of that. You don't understand how deeply evil Swella Braverman is. I'm telling you now, Priti Patel did a lot of bad shit. She abolished a lot of like regulations and so on, like a lot of rights and so on. Okay, yeah, she's gonna amp it up even more. So even though I'm extremely glad, extremely pleased that Priti Patel's gone, she's now on the backbenches. Nobody gives a fuck about her anymore. She's probably gonna go get a second job as in the private sector now, because obviously earning about 100k or whatever as an MP as she earns is not gonna be enough for her own greed. Okay, so that the power's been taken away.
Maybe she
from
just
her.
wants a nice car.
Look, that's what I mean. That's what they're getting to.
Okay. To be honest, I don't think we have an opinion on Priti Patel or whatever in it. That was just for him. Yeah. But is Liz Truss an improvement on Boris?
No, because she's like a female version of Boris. Because Liz Truss is okay. Look, you got to look at Liz Truss's career. Okay, she started as a politician within.
Bro, I don't want to hear history.
No,
please.
You're asking me if Liz Truss.
Okay, go on.
Yeah, you got 1 minute. You got
go.
In 1 minute.
She started her career as a Liberal Democrat MP, not MP, but like politician, right? She was a Liberal Democrat. If you go back and watch her video, she actually very much, you know how she's saying about all the Queen, this, all the monarchy, this and that, right? Okay, now there's a video of her when she was much younger, probably about my age, right? Where she's saying, we need to abolish the monarchy. It's completely irrational. It's also, and so there's the actual video going around right now as well. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
So she's your best friend.
I'm not on that side of TikTok.
So, okay, yeah. But what does that show? Her journey has been from the left, probably the center left, all the way to the right. What does that show her? That she's very, very, very like career minded.
Bro, that's going to be...
You do what you need to do. I respect the hustle, man.
No,
listen,
you don't.
choose left to right, switch lanes. You get me? You got to do what you got to do.
I mean, like Game of Time.
There has to be... No. Jokes aside, if you're a politician, you have to be...
You have to stick to your principles.
You got to stick to
I know what you're going to say. I don't need to hear.
Yeah?
Okay, cool.
So no, I don't respect Liz Truss.
Right, listen.
She's an idiot. She can't fucking find a way out of a room.
Listen. Next topic.
No way, that was actually under 1 minute, you know.
Yeah, I had to. I was getting bored. Anyway, Hindu extremists in Leicester.
Yeah,
Tell us about that.
Yo, you know one thing, yeah? So, okay.
That's spinning out into Birmingham, by the way.
No.
Yeah, it did happen in Birmingham.
You know what? Okay. About that topic, everything that's happening in Leicester and with...
Do you know what? Imagine I don't know nothing about this now. Tell me what's going on.
Wait, before he chats bare shit, I've tried to find out what's actually going on.
Right.
And they're like, there's more than a few stories
I've
as
heard
to
one story.
why this is happening.
I've heard one story.
So I don't know what's right and what's wrong.
Shall I give you my story and then you tell me if
There's
I'm right or wrong?
so many conspiracies out there.
Right, let me. Okay.
But that's the whole thing.
No. Let me go. You ready? Yeah. You ready? Yeah. I heard this on the streets. You know, this is real shit. This is an account from the streets. I've been hustling out here trying to get value for you boys. Yeah. So, I heard there was an India versus Pakistan cricket match.
Yeah.
Right.
Stems from there.
Yeah. See, I've nailed it already. Yeah. Right. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, I think it was Hindus that initially with like a big machete type knife stabbed, I don't know if killed, but injured Muslims as a result of the match. That's what I heard. I don't know if that account is correct or not. As a result of this, I heard that Muslims then went and defaced mandars with graffiti cans. And then on the back of that, Hindus have gone to mosques and defaced mosques, and then as a back of that, we've seen the results in Leicester. That could be completely wrong, but you tell me.
Okay, so what I don't know the exact details, but what I've read in the news about it is the fact that it stemmed from India-Pakistan game.
Yes,
I think.
Hold on, Ishan.
Apparently, that's being used as like a reason, but it's not actually the reason.
No, but I can see it stemming from that. Because,
so can I.
I can. To be honest, there'll be like 100 conspiracy theories about
There's
anything
so
that happens.
many.
Yeah,
so
but then
many
but the most realistic one, if you think about it, is as Indians, we know how much that game is like fucking revered, right? Yeah, India, Pakistan. So when
people love that.
Like it's not even just like it's like almost
apparently another thing is. It started in Leicester, right? In Leicester, there's like a huge Gujarati community, and apparently, it actually started because there were actually like some Hindus, but they were from Pakistan. Some Hindus from India. This is like another theory I read online.
So what you're alluding to, Amrit, set the record straight, man. What?
Okay, because what I heard was like from like there was a lot on this Twitter like who people like journalists that were on the ground. Okay, yeah. So one of them was Aina Khan as well. She very good journalist, right?
Keep going.
So what they said, like it kind of stemmed from this whole game, right? First,
right,
and then what happened was I don't know. I don't know the details about, but as Aman said, somebody was stabbed, and I've heard of that being the case as well. Okay, so the way I've heard it started is the fact that like it stemmed from that cricket match.
Right.
I don't know about the details, but as you said, somebody was stabbed. I heard of that as well.
Yeah.
But then the next thing I saw was that there was a lot of Hindus marching down an area.
And these are right wings.
Yeah, and these are RSS inspired. Yeah.
Right.
And they were shouting, the whole concept of Jai Shri Ram has been appropriated by the Hindu extremists, and that's you've seen that in India as well.
No, but
right?
for some people, Jai Shri Ram is just like welcoming.
No,
like,
it's
like,
welcoming.
hello.
But what
loads of people say Jai Shri Ram.
You're not getting the point I'm trying to make. I'm saying it is getting appropriated by the Hindu extremists.
So it's like an extremist thing to say.
No, it's not an extremist thing to say. But if you're going like you're missing the point, bro.
It's like God Save the Queen.
No.
British people say God Save the Queen, but someone like Nigel Farage will take a different. If he says it, there's a different connotation.
There's a different connotation to it. So, like when you look at these Hindu extremists,
I get it.
When you look at these Hindu extremist mobs in India as well, when they go like they all shout.
By the way, these things are happening very commonly.
Very common in India, right? And there were so many videos of Hindus actually gathering up Muslims, or like victim kind of picking one person, beating him to a pulp and getting and saying Jai Shri Ram bolo Jai Shri Ram, like say Jai Shri Ram. So that's what I'm trying to say. It's getting appropriated by that right wing RSS.
But anyway, go on.
Okay, yeah, and you saw a lot of those people in Leicester turn up, right, shouting Jai Shri Ram, and that wasn't like the welcoming aspect of Jai Shri Ram. It was more so about extremism, and they went around. And a lot of businesses shut down because they were scared and so on, right? Okay, yeah.
Right.
And then there was a whole group of Muslim lads that came and confronted them. There was a lot of tension. In that moment, there was a lot of tension. And arrests were made. So a lot of the police, I don't know the exact number, but it was in the multiple tens. I think it might have been up to about 40, but it could be less than that. I don't know the exact number of arrests made. And at least half of those people that were arrested from the Hindus faction, half of them were from outside Leicester. So the addresses they gave, there were a few from Birmingham, few from London, few from the different places. So what that shows, it was like a coordinated thing whereby a lot of outsiders came into Leicester to cause that disruption. And if you look at the Leicester community, what they were saying, Hindu community, they were saying, look, we're not even involved in this. Look, we live very peacefully together with Muslims, because Leicester has a huge Hindu community, but it also has a huge Muslim community as well. These like protesters and stuff, like if you want to call them protesters, although this mob is probably the right word to use. The mob went to a Muslim area, right? Okay, yeah, and they've said we've lived together like peacefully all this time. It's somebody outside. It's the RSS factions, okay, yeah, like the one in the UK,
like extremist faction.
Yeah. That is actually causing this, okay, yeah. And now what you've seen is the spill of that into Birmingham. I don't know if you guys saw just the other day. There was the mob of Muslim lads, who went outside the mandir in Albury, right? And you could even see from within them. There was a lot of people there saying, look, back off.
You see, this is the problem.
And there was also this one incident in Leicester.
Non-extremist Hindus have been targeted as a result.
No, but what I'm trying to say...
And likewise, non-extremist Muslims have been targeted.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, but then, so this is what it means. Like what I'm trying to say is that there was even one instance where they said, like, there was a group of Muslims who went up to a mandir, and it was actually one of the imams there who, like, told him to back off. He stood in front of the mandir.
Look.
And he tried to calm the situation and push everybody back. He actually protected the mandir as well. And there are stories of Hindus doing the same to mosques and so on as well. So you got to realize this, it's not about community, it's more about extremism that's seeping in from India to the UK.
Yes.
Right? This thing is rife, and Jai Shri Ram it's like poisonous now. Right? That term Jai Shri Ram is poisonous.
I'm not sure about that.
Yeah,
it is.
No. Listen. One thing that I think for you to make a statement like that is quite bold. Listen, let's not generalize, right? All Hindus, all Muslims, any people of any faith, because the truth is, so many Gujarati people, so many Hindu people just say Jai Shri Ram. Like, what you've technically said is like, let's say there was like a Sikh extremist, like people, and they started saying like, I don't know, anything like Sasrigal. You can't say like Sasrigal is poisonous, because the truth is that group, if it did exist, wouldn't represent the whole community. And likewise, I'm sure these people that say Jai Shri Ram in an extremist fashion definitely do not represent the whole Hindu community.
No, I get that.
So I can't say, saying Jai Shri Ram is poisonous, but I get where you're coming from. What I think is like, look, man, it's sad that this is taking place, and for anyone watching this, like, don't generalize all Muslims as bad people and all Hindus as extremists and that, because the truth is that's not right. I also think
I never said to do it.
Yeah, and also I think that keep things political. It's so wrong for any faith to go and deface any place of worship. So if that's extremists going to a mosque and disrespecting that's wrong. And
likewise,
so I think things like that need to stop. And I think, look, this is where we need to just be again, what I said in previous podcasts, want to be human and respect each other's like cause and values.
This
and, like,
is typical human behavior. We're acting divisively rather than acting as one.
Yeah, and I think that's all it is, and it's like a small portion of it. And I don't mean, sorry, Ishan, I didn't mean to like disrespect anything. Like, obviously, I believe in Hinduism very much myself. Jai Shri Ram, what I mean to say is appropriate. It's a little bit like, you know, if what I mean by is, like, let me try to give you some context. You know, a little bit like how
We know you don't mean disrespect.
like you know, like how if you look at the punk music, like, you know, the punk movement, it was appropriate by those skinheads in the 80s.
Yeah, no,
right?
I get it.
And the very punk music kind of became associated with racism.
Bro, just
That's what I
because
mean.
like, listen,
It's a connotation. You're
It's
talking
a connotation, right?
just because I wear Doc Martens and a bomber jacket, does
Yeah.
that mean I'm a racist skinhead?
No, it doesn't. But back in the 80s, if
I
you were
know.
white and you wore that, you'd be seen to be racist.
I know,
Right?
And
That's what I'm trying to say.
I know.
In India, when mobs go out now in like huge numbers and they shout Jai Shri Ram, that is the extreme side.
Yeah, like
That's what I'm saying.
we can't assume.
I'm not saying your uncle or my auntie saying Jai Shri Ram.
I get it.
Like, not me
yeah.
saying to you like that's not extremist and that's not poisonous. But what I'm trying to say is that actually the Hindu community should be concerned the fact that the very term Jai Shri Ram is being appropriated and is being linked to extremism.
Yeah.
That's the
So
point
even
for
the
me.
Hindu community, like everyone, should be just mindful and aware of these
Yeah.
matters. Like the same way, like, yeah, just don't mistake.
And it's a similar vein when you talk about partition. So when, you know, like in India, when the partition happened, there was a lot of like mobs and like looting and murders from both sides, from the Hindu and Sikh side of the Muslims and from the Muslims to the Hindus. And at that moment, you know, when you would hear the battle cries, it was more about Allah Akbar, right? Yeah, and then that kind of became like one of those terms that people associate with violence and so on.
Yeah.
So that it's always about, like, you know, your own religious, the context you use it in, it can be misinterpreted. That's what
I know. Look,
Are you still explaining yourself, bro?
as humans, let's just be more mindful. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, that done. Now I want to talk about a big topic, Iran, women in Iran. Specifically, on the 13th of September, I'll tell you guys a story now, a quick story. 13th of September, a 22-year-old woman, her name was Mahsa Amini, was detained by the Iranian morality police, where, you know, she was going to the country's capital city, Tehran. As soon as she entered, you know, she was, you know, charged with flouting the country's strict religious dress code, i.e. she wasn't wearing a hijab, which is a punishable crime under the Islamic hijab rules. You know, she was beaten up and taken to a detention center in Vazora, right? Her condition was serious and she was at the hospital at midnight. Doctors said her consciousness was very low. According to her brother, when they reached the detention center, they asked to be let in to meet Mahsa, but the door remained shut. When some of the detained girls came out, they were screaming and saying someone had been killed. On 16th of September, it was confirmed that she died. Why did this happen? Since the country's 1979 Islamic Revolution, Iranian law requires all women, regardless of nationality or religious belief, to wear a hijab that covers the head and neck while concealing the hair. Who exactly is the moral police that I mentioned? You know, the morality police in Iran, they're authorized Islamic vice squad police organizations that protect the public's moral, religious adherence, accordance in law with their interpretations of the Sharia. Yeah, at the end of July, the morality police had banned women from wearing coats that do not cover their knees, tight pants and ripped jeans, as well as brightly colored outfits. In the past few months, they had faced a lot of criticism for the excessive use of force, but that didn't change anything quite clearly. What has happened since her death? Police officers come out and denied such cowardly accusations. They said she suffered a sudden heart failure. Her death has sparked protests in the capital and western Iran, where 2 people have been killed since and tens have been arrested with clashes with riot police. You know, women on videos on social media just showing where women are removing their headscarves and shouting "Death to the dictator, the supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei." You know, shout out to the Instagram page, The Unsaid Words, for this information. But what's your guys' thoughts on that?
One thing I don't get is, like, in this world is people's, especially men's, obsession with how Muslim women dress. If you look at countries like France and even India now, they're saying we're banning the hijab, you can't wear the hijab. Okay, yeah? That's the whole thing that's going on. And if you look at these countries now, for example, Iran and Afghanistan, where like it's extremely conservative, you know, Muslims, they're saying you have to wear the hijab. But I just don't get this whole thing, why people are so obsessed over what a Muslim woman decides to wear or not. It should be up to the woman. If she wants to wear a hijab, you have to respect that and let her wear a hijab. If a woman thinks I don't want to wear the hijab, you have to respect that and say, okay, if you don't want to wear the hijab, you don't wear the hijab.
Pro-choice, bro.
It's all about the choice.
You know what?
But then there's
The Islamic Revolution
thing.
started in Iran, but before that, Iran was quite
modern.
Very
modern.
Especially in this, it was always rural. In the rural areas, it was always conservative, like it always is in any country, right? Okay, yeah, and that's why the whole revolution came in. It stayed in that way. But if you look in the cities, it was one of the most progressive, most like very artistically rich, very rich in art. Okay, it was one of the greatest countries you could culturally very rich. Okay, in terms of, it was one of the greatest countries you could visit. Like
I've seen photos. Yeah, it was amazing.
You know, I've seen so much of Tehran through films and TV and books and all that stuff, right? Okay, and I'd long to visit Tehran, but obviously it's not
cultural hotspot. Yeah,
it's a cultural hotspot. So it's really sad what's actually happened, but it comes down exactly again to like how people think like they should control what Muslim women wear. Like, you know, if you look at France, for example, they were banning the hijab. They were saying, okay, girls can't wear hijab. Similar in India as well. It's just this obsession I just don't get of like especially men in power, that they want to control how Muslim woman dresses or doesn't dress.
I think
I just don't get that.
My views on this apply not only to Iran but throughout world. I don't feel like I don't know much about the politics and like the whatever. My views are, listen, let people do and wear what they want, regardless of race, religion, gender. If it makes you happy, makes you happy. But who are we as humans to enforce anything that, you need to do this. If I was running the world, that's how I'd run it, right? If people want to run the world differently, I mean, I don't know. I can't speak for them.
And then the saddest thing is,
you do you, man. As long as you're not harming anybody.
Either way, it's good to see these women protest.
100%, because Iran is very suppressive anyway. And you know, this whole moral police, it sounds a very weird concept to us, but because it's somebody literally, it's not part of the normal police force. It's somebody going around parks, making sure you're not holding hands, making sure you're not kissing. That happens in India too, by the way. Even though there's no moral police, but police seem to somehow tend to do that shit. They'll go to parks, and if there's somebody holding hands, they'll be like, no, and all of that stuff. And so for us to understand the concept moral police is very difficult, but it happens. And the fact that it's caused a lot of almost like not a revolution, but it caused a lot of protests and stuff.
We could
to the point where they've banned internet, so the government stopped the internet.
They stopped internet.
And then also what a lot of women were doing, they were uploading videos of themselves but they were also like removing the hijab and cutting their hair, or like burning the hijab and so on as well. So it sparked a life into those women to like actually go and confront because the whole picture of in Iran at the moment is the supreme leader. He rules with an iron fist, and that he can't be challenged. And for a long time he wasn't. So it's very good to see that a lot of people are starting to realize, okay, well, you know what, enough is enough. We need to wake up. Like usually, sadly, when these sort of things happen, that sparks some sort of protest, some sort of awakeness. It always starts with a tragic event, and in this case, it's that of that lady.
Yeah. Very well said, Amrit. Well done, mate. Now, just briefly, want to talk about the Pakistan floods. A lot of the mainstream media has caught onto it more recently, but it's been going on for a few months now, a few weeks. And, a third of Pakistan is just underwater.
It's incredible.
Yeah, I don't think it's even just Pakistan, I think it's like parts of Nepal, even parts of India.
Yeah, but those countries weren't affected as much as Pakistan.
Pakistan's been
like a third of a country. It's like a third of a country is huge. Imagine so many people have lost their land, have lost their crops, especially in rural areas, as we know in India. Your crop is your lifeline. It's what you're going to feed your family with. Right? And if you lose that, it's like us. We lose our jobs tomorrow. That's it. No other income. So for them, it's monumental. And it's only that. But there was one person who said that he has 3 or 4 children, and he had to make a choice between saving the family cow or the child, because that family cow is very, very, very important to that family's survival. That's how he feeds his kids. So he had to choose between the cow and his child. Imagine that.
Yeah, that's terrible.
And the worst thing is the floods are being caused obviously by a climate emergency. Okay, the warming of the planet. And Pakistan is not even a contributor to it. It's the countries like the UK, US, these Western countries that just pump out fucking carbon emissions. So there needs to be some sort of recognition. There needs to be some sort of reparations to countries that are being impacted by. India is getting hotter and hotter. Pakistan, I think it was recorded 54 degrees was the highest temperature recorded in Pakistan this summer. That's incredible. Imagine living in 54 fucking degrees, being outside in that. And the worst thing is these third countries that are actually like, I wouldn't say the third world countries, but these countries that are not as developed, they are facing the brunt of climate change. It's impacting them the most, but they're not even causing it. It's being caused by countries like the US, for example, the UK, all of that, where we just fucking fly everywhere. You know, this whole thing. That's why I just don't get this whole culture about
All right, listen, I'm not going to start you off there.
Yeah, I'm not going to say off, but that's what I mean. Like, they're facing the brunt of this, and they're not even the cause of it. So there needs to be some sort of international recognition of that, and there needs to be reparations that need to be made to kind of like.
Yeah, I think you know what. I think that's September. I think we've covered it quite well. I'm not sure we've missed anything. If we have, let us know in the comments. But to be honest, 45 minutes in, if you've been watching up until now and you still haven't liked the video, like, are you a twat? Yeah.
Or dislike the video. You know? You have some sort of view on it. Either like it or dislike it.
Yeah, drop a comment, man. But yeah, drop a comment and catch us for the next episode. And we will have an update for you. We might have a little break from podcast. We'll have a little update for you next time. Definitely catch the next episode. See you. Bye.